Half a day, everyone. Good afternoon. The Committee on Rules meeting is now called to order. For the record, today is Wednesday, February 26, 2020, and the time now is 2:08 p.m. Core Director, Ms. Mary Marvilla, will you now call the roll?
Chairperson Regine Bisco-Lee. Legislative Secretary Amanda L. Shelton. Speaker Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes. Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson. Senator Kelly Marsh Taitano. Senator Sabina Flores Perez. Senator Clinton E. Rogel. Senator Joe S. San Augustine. Senator Jose Pito Terlahi. Senator Therese M. Terlahi. Senator James C. Moylan. Senator Mary Camacho Torres. Madam Chair, you have a quorum.
Siduous Masi, do I hear a motion to excuse members not present? Moved by Senator Moylan and seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Are there any objections? No objections. And I'll give a couple of minutes to review the core minutes from January 22nd, 2020.
Madam Chair,
Senator San Augustine, you are recognized.
I move that we accept and adopt the minutes, subject to any administrative errors or questions that need to make any change.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? It's been moved by Senator Joe San Augustine to approve the minutes subject to technical corrections and seconded by Senator Pito Terlahi. Are there any objections? So moved. The first item of core business is an update on document tracking, and I will provide the legislative secretary update. The legislative secretary report to date is as follows. During the January 2020 session, 7 appointments were confirmed. During this term, we have a total of 141 appointments confirmed. Of the remaining 33 appointments, some have been withdrawn and some are pending confirmation. No pending appointments, however, have extended beyond the authorized 90-day term limit. There are currently 3 zone change requests at this time, and no new requests have been received. We have received 12 proposed rules and regulations. 7 of the 12 have had their public hearings. The next item of business is the ratification of referrals. The referrals of bills, resolutions, and appointments are indicated each of the corresponding logs. Do I hear a motion to ratify the referrals?
Motion to ratify.
There's been a motion by Senator San Augustine and moved by Vice Speaker Talina Nelson. Are there any objections? No objections, so moved. Is there a motion to ratify the referrals of executive appointments? There's been a motion by Senator
Second.
James Camacho Moylan, seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Are there any objections? No objections, so moved. Is there a motion to ratify the referrals of resolutions?
Second.
There's been a motion by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson, seconded by Kelly Marsh Taitano. Do I hear any objections? No objections, so moved. Now move on to the session agenda, reports of standing committee. We'll move to consideration of items eligible for placement on the session agenda. Since our January meeting, committee reports for the following items have been duly filed and met Committee on Rules committee report deadline. Number 1, Bill number 6-35, as amended by the Committee on General Government Appropriations and Housing, authored by Senator Tello Titagui, an act to repeal Section 8172 of Article 1, Chapter 8, Title 4, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the responsible use of taxpayer funds through the elimination of automatic retirement benefits for elective Guam governors and lieutenant governors and their survivors. Number 2, Bill Number 11-35, COR, authored by James C. Moylan, an act to create the Expect More Act of 2019 by adding Section 3133 to Chapter 3, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the creation of the agency Customer Service Policy. Number 3, Bill Number 46-35, COR, as amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation and Procurement, authored by James C. Moylan, an act to amend Section 51112 of Chapter 51, Title 18, GCA, and to add a new subsection 30112 to Chapter 30 of Title 11 Guam Code Annotated, relative to increasing the enforcement and collection efforts from lodging facilities who accommodate transient visitors. Number 4, Bill Number 53-35, COR, as substituted by the Committee on Economic Development, Agriculture, Maritime Transportation, Power and Energy Utilities, and Emergency Response, authored by Senators Sabina Flores Perez, Clinton E. Rogel, and Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, an act to add a new subsection 63101DD and 63116.3, and amend subsection 63129 and 63128. All of Article 1, Chapter 35, Title 5, GCA, relative to the prohibition of fishing with the use of a self-contained underwater breathing apparatus, SCUBA, and similar devices in the waters of Guam or in any vessel in the waters of Guam. Number 5, Bill Number 56-35, COR, as substituted and amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation and Procurement, authored by Senator Tello T. Titagui and Senator William M. Castro, an act to add a new Article 4 to Chapter 12, Division 1, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to creating a task force to review information, conduct a feasibility study, and develop recommendations concerning submarine cables. Number 6, Bill Number 69-35 LS, as amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation and Procurement, authored by Senator Sabina Flores Perez, an act to amend subsection 7102Q of Article 1, Chapter 7, Title 3, Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations, relative to correcting the definition of gross receipts as it applies to gaming. Number 7, Bill Number 84-35, COR, authored by Senators Sabina Flores Perez, Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, and Regine Bisco-Lee, an act to amend Article 9 of Chapter 3, Title 16, Guam Code Annotated, relative to extending the plug-in electric vehicle rebate program to private businesses and nonprofit organizations, and extending the rebate phase-out period, and to add a new Chapter 2 to Title 7 Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations, relative to implementing the same. Number 8, Bill Number 90-35, COR, is substituted and amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation and Procurement, authored by Senators Sabina Flores Perez, Kelly Marsh Titano, PhD, and Amanda L. Shelton, an act to repeal and reenact subsection 5215 of Subarticle B, Article 3, Chapter 5, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to providing for emergency procurement for threats to the environment, increasing transparency, and otherwise improving emergency procurement. Number 9, Bill Number 148-35, LS, as amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice, authored by Senator James C. Moylan, an act to amend subsection 81.10 of Chapter 81, Title 9, Guam Code Annotated, relative to work credit for those incarcerated by the Department of Corrections. Number 10, Bill Number 154-35, COR, as amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice, authored by Speaker Tina Rose Muñoz Barnes, an act to authorize Imagalahan Guahan to relocate 384 square meters of an existing bull cart trail within lots 5007-3, 5007-4, and 5071, number 1 and 2, in the municipality of Tamuning to with an area consisting of 746 square meters within said lot 5071, number 1-2, for public right-of-way use. Number 11, Bill number 168-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation and Procurements, authored by Senator Sabina Flores Perez, Speaker Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, and Kelly Marsh Titino, PhD. An act to add a new Article 3 to Chapter 45 of Title 10, Guam Code annotated relative to mandating testing and mitigating radon in schools and child care facilities, and to conduct a needs assessment regarding radon testing of Government of Guam facilities. Number 12, Bill number 196-35 LS as amended by the Committee on Education, Air Transportation and Statistics, Research and Planning, authored by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson and Senator Joe S. San Augustine, an act to amend subsection 7116A and D, both of Chapter 7, Division 2, Title 17 GCA, relative to authorizing the Guam Department of Education to enter into power purchase agreements to purchase solar energy from qualified providers, which was passed on file from January 28, 2020 session. Number 13, Bill number 197-35 as amended by the Committee on Higher Education and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens, authored by Senator Amanda L. Shelton, Senator Joe S. San Augustine, and Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson. An act to amend subsection 16112, 16113, 16115, and 16118C to repeal and reenact subsection 16123 and 16124, to add 16136, 16137, 16138, 16139, and 16140, all of Chapter 16, Title 17 GCA relative to amending the University of Guam Charter to add personnel, classify student employees, authorize UOG to enter into borrowing agreements without legislative approval, establish the Center for Island Sustainability, repeal the Guam National Energy Institute, establish the UOG Sea Grant Special Funds, establish representation at the Pacific Regional Environmental Program, promulgate procurement regulations, authorize short-term borrowing, and authorize long-term leasing contracting. Number 14, Bill 208-35 COR is amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land and Justice, authored by Speaker Tina Rose Munoz Barnes and Joseph S. San Augustine, an act to amend subsection 32103 of Article 1 and subsection 32201C, 21C of Article 2, both of Chapter 32 of Title 5, Guam Code annotated relative to preventing price gouging during a state of emergency or epidemic. And number 15, Bill number 232-35 COR is amended by the Committee on Education, Air Transportation and Statistics, Research and Planning, authored by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson, an act to amend subsection 715113 of Chapter 7, Title 1, Guam Code annotated relative to defining 180 instructional days equivalent as 900 instructional hours for Guam public elementary and secondary schools, and requiring the Superintendent of Education to develop a standard operating procedure for making up the loss of instructional time for Guam's public schools. 16, Bill number 237-35 COR, as amended by the Committee on Heritage of the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagåtña Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs, authored by Senator Kelly Marsh Titino, PhD, Clinton E. Ridgell. An act to amend subsection 2204-2205B3, subsection 2205B10B, and subsection 2206 of Article 2, Chapter 2, Title 5 Guam Code annotated relative to simplifying the composition of the Guam Products Seal Task Force, updating terms related to Guam and Chamorro, requiring that it meet biannually instead of monthly, and clarifying the number of members needed for quorum and action. 17, Bill number 241-35, as amended by the Committee on Heritage and the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagåtña Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs, authored by Kelly Marsh Titino, PhD, Jose Pito Terlahi, Tina Rose Munoz Barnes, Talina Cruz Nelson, and Clinton E. Ridgell. An act to add a new subsection 72110 to Chapter 72, Title 10, Guam Code annotated relative to creating and implementing a rip current and hiking safety awareness program and outreach plan. Bill number 257-35 COR is amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice, authored by Therese M. Terlahi, an act to amend subsection 121802B2 and C2 of Article 18, Part 2, Chapter 12, Title 10, Guam Code Annotated, relative to updating the qualifications for licensure of new higher bachelor's and master's level speech-language pathology assistants. 19, Bill number 260-35 COR, authored by Speaker Tina Rose Munoz Barnes and William M. Castro, an act to amend subsection 40127 of Chapter 40, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to providing for the expedient appointment of members to the Municipal Planning Council and safeguarding the invaluable role of the Municipal Planning Council. Number 20, Bill number 262-35, authored by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson, an act relative to section 40110, 40124, 40127 of Article 1 of Chapter 40 of Division 4 of Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, and relative to procedures to fill a vacancy of the mayor and vacancies in the Municipal Planning Council. 21, Bill number 263-35 is amended by the Committee on Public Safety, Border Safety, Military and Veterans Affairs, Mayor's Council, Infrastructure and Public Transit, authored by Senator Jose Pito Terlahi, an act to add a new subsection 13106 of Chapter 13, Title 3, GCA, to create a temporary vacancy should a mayor be unable to perform the duties of his office for reasons other than those explicitly prescribed in 3 GCA subsection 13106, Chapter 13. Committee reports for the following executive appointments have been duly filed with the Committee on Rules as well. The nomination of Chris Duenas to serve as a member of the Department of Parks and Recreation Board of Commissioners, and the nomination of David N. Sanford to serve as a member of the private sector representative of the Government of Guam Retirement Fund Board of Trustees. Do I hear any motion to place these items on the session agenda?
Madam Chair,
Senator San Augustine, you are recognized.
on behalf of the Speaker, Tina Munoz Barnes, and myself as co-sponsor, I'd like to move that Bill number 154-35 is amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice, an act to authorize the Magalan Guam to relocate 384 square meters of an existing bull cart trail within lots 507-3, 507-4, and 507-1 and 2 in the municipality of Tamuing to within an area consisting of 746 square meters within set lot 507-1 and 2 for public right-of-way use.
Do I hear a second? Okay, seconded by Senator Kelly Marsh Titano. Do I hear any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator San Augustine, you're still recognized.
Madam Chair, also Bill number 208-35, as amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land, and Justice, an act to amend Section 32103S of Article 1 and Section 3201C21C of Article 2, both of Chapter 32, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to preventing price gouging during a state of emergency or epidemic.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Kelly Marsh Titano. Any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator San Augustine, you're still recognized.
Yes, ma'am, thank you. And also, on the nomination of Mr. David Sanford as member of the private sector representative to the Government of Guam Retirement Fund Board of Trustees for a term length of 5 years to fill the seat of Gerard Cruz.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator James Moylan. Any objections? So moved. Do I hear any other motions to place on the session agenda? Senator Sabina Perez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to place Bill 53-35 COR on the session agenda.
Can you please read the authors and title?
It is authored by myself, Senator Rangel, and Senator Tina Rose Munoz Barnes. It's an act to add Section 63101DD and Section 63116.3 and amend Section 63129 and 63128, all of Article 1, Chapter 63, Title 5 Guam Code Annotated relative to the prohibition of fishing with use of scuba and similar devices in the waters of Guam or any vessel in the waters of Guam.
Do I hear a second? seconded by Clinton Rigel. Any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Perez, you're still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also move to place Bill 84-35 COR, sponsored by myself, Speaker Tina Rose Mooney Barnes, and Senator Regine Biscoli. It's an act to amend Article 9 of Chapter 3, Title 16, Guam Code Annotated, relative to extending the plug-in electric vehicle rebate program to private businesses and nonprofits, and extending the rebate phase-out period, and to add a new Chapter 2, Title 7, Guam Administrative Rules and Regs, relative to implementing the same.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator Kelly Marsh-Chaitano. Any objections? So moved. Senator Perez, you're still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to also move Bill 90-35 COR as substituted and amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue, and Taxation Procurement, authored by myself, Senator Kelly Marsh-Chaitano, PhD, and Senator Amanda Shelton. Is an act to repeal and reenact Section 5215 of Subarticle B, Article 3, Chapter 5, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to providing for emergency procurement for threats to the environment and increasing transparency and otherwise improving emergency procurement.
Do I hear a second? Thank you very much, Senator Jose Pito Terlaje. Are there any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Perez, you're still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to note for the record that I do intend to place nominee Rowena Perez, a member on the PUC board. I will have the public hearing today and be ready with the committee report before the session starts.
Okay, thank you very much for that information. Anyone else wishing to place an item on the session agenda? Senator Jose Pito Terlaje, you're recognized.
I move to place Bill number 263-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Public Safety, Border Safety, Military and Veterans Affairs, Mayor's Council, Infrastructure and Public Transit, an act to add a new section 13106.1 of Chapter 13, Title 3, Guam Code Annotated, to create a temporary vacancy should a mayor be unable to perform the duties of his office for reasons and other than those explicitly prescribed in 3 GCA Section 13106, Chapter 13.
Thank you very much, Senator Jose Pito Terlaje. Do I hear a second? Okay.
Madam Chair, can I just kind of state an issue here? Because according to the Vice Speaker, there was an opinion from the Attorney General's office regarding this particular section, this particular bill, as being inorganic. So I just want to withdraw that for
Okay,
now.
thank you very much, Senator Pito Terlaje. Your motion has been withdrawn. You're still recognized if you want to place anything else.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Anyone else wishing to place an item on the session agenda? Senator Marsh-Chaitano, you are recognized.
Suzuis Masi, Madam Chair. I move to place Bill number 237-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Heritage and the Arts, Parks, Guam Products, Hagåtña Revitalization, Self-Determination, and Regional Affairs to the session agenda. An act to amend Section 2204, 2205B3, 2205B10B, and 2206 of Article 2, Chapter 2, Title 4, Guam Code Annotated, relative to simplifying the composition of the Guam Product Seal Task Force, updating terms related to Guam and Chamorro, requiring that it meet biannually instead of monthly, and clarifying the number of members needed for quorum and action.
Thank you, Senator Kelly Marsh-Chaitano. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson. Any objections? No objections, so moved. Senator Marsh-Chaitano, you are still recognized.
Suzuis Masi, Madam Chair. I'd like to move the nomination of Chris Duenas to serve as a member, Department of Parks and Recreation, Board of Commissioners, with the recommendation to do confirm.
Thank you, Senator Kelly Marchetti. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator James Moylan. Any objections? So moved. Senator Marchetti, you're still recognized.
Sejos Masi, Madam Chair. I would like to inform the committee that I intend to move Bill number 167-35 COR as introduced by myself, Speaker Tina Rose Munoz-Barnes, and Senator Sabina Perez onto session agenda during session after the committee report is returned to the Committee on Rules with minor revisions and uploaded to the website. Sejos Masi.
Thank you. Senator Marchetti, can you repeat that bill number?
Yes, that's Bill number 167.
Okay. Thank you for that information. Oh, can you please read the name of the bill?
Sure. An act to amend Section 1203, 1206, 1209H, 1210, 1211, and 1214, each of Chapter 1, Title 5, Guam Code Annotated, relative to renewing the Guam Comprehensive Development Plan to encompass the principles of sustainability.
Thank you very much, Senator Marchetti. Anyone else wishing to place items on the session agenda? Yes, Madam Chair. Senator Moylan, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move Bill number 6-35 LS as amended by Committee on General Government Operations, Appropriations, and Housing, introduced by Senator Tello T. Taitagui, which is an act to repeal subsection 8172 of Article 1, Chapter 8, Title 4, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the responsible use of taxpayer funds through the elimination of automatic retirement benefits for elected Guam governor and lieutenant governors and their survivors.
Do I hear a second? There is no second. Motion fails.
Okay.
Senator Moylan, you are still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to move Bill number 56-35 Core as substituted and amended by the Committee on Environment, Revenue and Taxation and Procurement, sponsored by Senator Tello Taitagui and Senator William M. Castro, which is an act to add a new Article 4 to Chapter 12, Division 1, Title 12, Guam Code Annotated, relative to creating a task force to review information, conduct a feasibility study, and develop recommendations concerning submarine cables.
Do I hear a second? There's no second. Motion fails. Senator Moylan, you are still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also like to note that I do have 3 bills that at this time, I would not move, but under the consideration of core, and when we get to session, I think the most important thing in my priority will be to introduce on the floor. I understand that Bill number 71-35, committee reports, those signed by the committee to move forward are still not uploaded at this time. So on session floor, I wish to move Bill 7135, which is an act to amend subsection 5101 and subsection 5105, 5107, 5109, 5112A3, and 5114, which is to add subsection 5119, all Chapter 5 of Title 16, Guam Code Annotated, relative to the size, weight, and load limitations and restrictions of certain vehicles. At the session floor, I kindly ask consideration of the entire body that this bill be so important for the consumers and that we wish to deeply move this forward during the session. Madam Chair.
Thank you very much for that information. Senator Moylan, you're still recognized?
Oh.
You said you wanted to
yeah,
mention?
So, reference to the 3 other bills that I could request to move, I Considering the size of our agenda, Madam Chair, I'd rather use my time just specifically to move Bill 71, which is what we call the test. I feel it's so important, and I wish to have this really heard during session coming up, rather than to use my time with other bills at this moment.
All right, thank you very much, Senator Moylan. Is there anyone else who wishes to place an item on the session agenda? Vice Speaker, you are recognized.
Seatus Masi, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move Bill number 196-35 LS as amended by the Committee on Education, Air Transportation, and Statistics, Research and Planning, an act to amend subsections 7116 Alpha and Delta, both of Chapter 7, Division 2, Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to authorizing Guam Department of Education to enter into power purchase agreements to purchase solar energy from qualified providers. So this is something that we passed on file from the previous session, and I would like to move forward with it at this session time.
Okay, we have a motion from Vice Speaker Talina Nelson and seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Are there any objections? No objections, so moved. Vice Speaker, you are still recognized.
Seatus Masi, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to move Bill number 197-35 LS as amended by the Committee on Higher Education and the Advancement of Women, Youth, and Senior Citizens, Amanda L. Shelton, Joe S. San Augustine, and Talina Cruz Nelson. An act to amend subsection 16112, 16113, 16115, and 16118 Charlie to repeal and reenact subsection 16123 and 16124, to add new subsection 16136, 16137, 16138, 16139, and 16140, all of Chapter 16, Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to amending the University of Guam Charter to add personnel, classified student employees, authorize UOG to enter into borrowing agreements without legislative approval, establish the Center for Island Sustainability, repeal the Guam National Energy Institute, establish the UOG Sea Grant Special Fund, establish representation at the Pacific Regional Environment Program, promulgate procurement regulations, authorize short-term borrowing, and authorize long-term leasing and contracting.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Vice Speaker, you are still recognized.
Seatus Masi, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to move Bill number 232-35 COR as amended by the Committee on Education, Air Transportation, and Statistics, Research and Planning, sponsored by myself, an act to amend subsection 7115 Lima 13 of Chapter 17, Title 1, Guam Code annotated, relative to defining the 180 instructional days equivalent as 900 instructional hours for Guam public and elementary schools, and requiring for the Superintendent of Education to develop a standard operating procedure for making up the loss of instructional time for Guam's public schools.
It's been moved by Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson and seconded by Senator Joe San Augustine. Do I hear any objections? Hearing none, motion passes. Vice Speaker, you are still recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, I'd like to state that I would like to move Bill number 170-35 COR on the session floor, which is an act to amend subsection 3114 of Chapter 3, Title 27, Guam Administrative Rules and Regulations, and to add subsection 51102.30 of Chapter 51, Title 17, Guam Code annotated, relative to granting administrative adjudication authority to the Guam Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission.
Thank you for that information, Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Is there anyone else who wishes to place an item on the session agenda? Yes, we have.
Madam Chair, motion to adjourn.
We have to adopt the agenda. Okay, so a draft session agenda has been provided to each of you. Are there any motions? I'm sorry. Okay, Senator Perez, you're recognized.
My
No problem.
apologies, Madam Chair. I would like to add another bill on the session agenda.
Okay.
Bill 257-35 COR, as amended by the Committee on Health, Tourism, Historic Preservation, Land and Justice, authored by Senator Therese Terlahi. It's an act to amend Section 121802B2 and C2 of Article 18, Part 2, Chapter 12, Title 10, Guam Code annotated, relative to updating the qualifications for licensure for new higher bachelor's and master's level speech-language pathology assistants.
Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator Jose Pedro Terlaje. Any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes. Senator Perez?
No further ones, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there a motion to place bills in the second reading file? Thank you very much, Vice Speaker. Do I hear a second? Seconded by Senator Kelly Marsh-Chartino. Any objections? No objections, motion passes. Is there a motion to place resolutions in the second reading file? Thank you very much, Vice Speaker. Seconded by Senator Joseph Augustine. Any objections? Motion carries. Is there a motion to place appointments under the legislative concurrence of the agenda? Thank you very much, Vice Speaker. Seconded by Senator Sabina Flores Perez. With the placement of these bills and resolutions in the second reading file and these appointments under the legislative concurrence, is there a motion to adopt the session agenda? Thank you very much, Vice Speaker Talina Cruz Nelson, seconded by Senator Jose Pedro Terlaje. Are there any objections? So moved. In accordance with the standing rules, the agenda will be published within the next 24 hours. At this time, the floor is open for any further discussion. Oh, I'm very sorry. My apologies. I want to recognize I was mistakenly calling Senator Nelson the Vice Speaker, but she is currently the acting Speaker. Okay. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank
Madam
you
Chair.
very much, Senator
Thank you.
Cho, and seconded by Senator Pedro Terlaje. Do I hear any objections? No? Okay, for the record, the time is now 2:45 p.m. and we are adjourned. Thank you very much.